Hello and thanks for attending this short presentation on Autodesk licensing and subscription. I'm Ben Kernick and work for Graitec as a business development manager within the manufacturing division, and I'm also accompanied by my colleague Paul Munford, who's going to show you some of the developments funded by the subscription and what this has meant to changes seen within Autodesk Inventor 2016. So initially for the next 20 minutes we're going to take a look at the current licensing options, what's changing, the cost of these changes, and some of the key dates to be aware of. So it's never been easier to buy Autodesk software with options tailored to suit your business, and at this moment in time you have three options that best fit your current project needs and associated budget. These options are broken down into Maintenance Subscription, Desktop Subscription, and Cloud Service Subscription. I appreciate that these can be referred to in a number of different ways, so in order to clear things up, I just wanted to touch base on each one of them. Maintenance Subscription is the most common platform our customers sit within, also commonly referred to as a perpetual license with subscription. This is where you pay for the software upfront and then pay a yearly charge to have that software maintained, providing both standalone or network-based licenses. This option, as discussed later on within this presentation, is going to be removed from the offering and instead replaced with Desktop Subscription. So Desktop Subscription is the newer option and again commonly referred to as rental. With this type of license there is no significant upfront costs, but instead a lower fee that can be paid on a quarter, 6 monthly, year or multi-year basis. At present these licenses can only be standalone, but as from the 1st of February, network licenses will be available. And finally, Cloud Services, which is again fairly new but complements the existing offering, allowing you to extend beyond the power of your desktop and utilize the web predominantly for its processing power, for example, rendering and simulation, as well as its strong project collaboration services. No matter which plan you choose, as a subscriber to Autodesk software and services, you'll gain access to the latest Autodesk software releases or services, select Autodesk Cloud Services, technical support, and exclusive subscriber-only newsletters and communication. So let's take a look at each subscription in more detail. The Common Maintenance Subscription or Perpetual License with Subscription allows you to maximize your software investment and cost-effectively maintain your Autodesk Perpetual Software License. As a subscriber to this program, you'll benefit from always having the latest and most powerful tools on hand. You can gain immediate access to software releases and product enhancements. Staying current with Maintenance Subscription lowers your upgrade costs, helping you maintain a predictable software budget. It's the best and most economical way to stay ahead of your competition, and those currently on this model have nothing to do. Continue to pay the yearly subscription and your licensing model remains exactly the same. When collaborating across internal and external teams, you need the right software on hand at the right time and place. With licensing rights, Maintenance Subscription gives you more freedom with your software. Clients sometimes require you to deliver projects with a specific software version. With previous version rights, you're able to use both previous and current versions of software to deliver your projects. Since work doesn't always happen in the office, home user rights allow you to use the software in the office or at home. When work requires you to travel, territory rights allow you to use your licensed software outside the country for up to 90 days. With Maintenance Subscription, you gain access to a collection of select Autodesk Cloud services and cloud-enabled products. Each named user receives 25 GB of Autodesk Cloud storage. The virtually infinite computing capacity of the cloud allows you to run tasks without tying up your desktop or the need for expensive hardware. You can test the performance of multiple design options and rapidly increase the number of visualizations as an integral part of your workflow. Saving files to the cloud allows you to access your work and connect with your teams anytime and anywhere. Your entire collaboration process remains documented in the cloud, offering a seamless and well-organized workflow that helps your team achieve better design. Finally, included in Maintenance Subscription is Autodesk and Graitec support, providing access to a package of online support services which include community support forums, one-to-one web support, online support, including a knowledge base with help documents, tutorials and training videos, the opportunity to search an extensive collection of Autodesk technical solutions and community support forum threads, and access to exclusive newsletters and communications to help you get the most from your subscription benefits. Desktop subscription or rental is an ideal option for users who want to license software on a term basis. You can choose from monthly, quarterly, annual and multi-year options for using Autodesk products, with all the benefits of the standard subscription model explained within the previous slide. So why has this come about? There are many problems companies face today when it comes to managing software budget. Many of these challenges include figuring out how to manage their finances, creating solutions that allow you to ramp up or scale down, exploring ways to stay competitive, and examining ways to reduce risk. With so many needs competing for your time and resources, it's important to find a flexible solution that can help you address any or all of these issues. Regardless of the business size, it's important to manage your finances. Software shouldn't leave you cash-strapped. You now have the option to eliminate the large upfront investment needed to access the latest software so that you can allocate funds across multiple areas of your business. Staffing needs change. Employees come and go, or you may need the help of seasonal workers such as interns or contractors. There are also times when project or client-specific demands necessitate the use of specialized software. Both of these realities require you to be flexible and responsive. Short-term licenses, with the ability to be reassigned, allow you to maintain this flexibility. Under the traditional software system, you could easily get stuck with outdated software, while long-term contracts or outright purchases might leave you with seats that aren't being used. Reduce the risk of throwing away money by paying only for the software you need for the time in which you need it. Software features constantly change. Don't lose business because you don't have access to the capabilities needed to secure work from a potential client. Invest in a software solution that allows you to stay current and always have access to the latest tools. The ability to complete a project should never be one of the reasons you lose business. So Autodesk took the previously mentioned concerns into consideration and created a software solution aimed specifically at addressing these issues. Desktop subscription is a flexible, cost-effective way to access the latest Autodesk software via monthly, quarterly, annual and multi-year term licenses. These term licenses provide the flexibility needed to create software solutions that work for companies of all sizes and budgets. So finally, cloud service subscription, which helps you extend work from the desktop into the cloud. With cloud service subscription, you'll benefit from access to the latest services, flexible usage rights, and technical support. Virtually infinite cloud computing power to help you run complex and resource-intensive tasks without tying up your desktop, bypassing the need to invest in expensive, specialized hardware. The ability to collaborate with extended teams in the cloud in real time from your office or mobile device. Access to your project files anytime, anywhere, from web and mobile devices, and streamline workflows throughout the project lifecycle. So with the popularity of desktop subscription increasing, Autodesk are making a number of changes next year. Over the course of the year, starting from January, they're going to phase out the maintenance subscription or perpetual license with subscription, and instead replace this with the new desktop subscription or rental model, due to the benefits explained earlier within this presentation. Nothing changes for existing customers on the perpetual model, however, it will be applicable to all new licenses purchased. As of July the 31st, this will extend onto the software suites, and again for any new license purchase, desktop subscription will be the only option. Again, just to reiterate, all customers on the existing model remain as they are and simply pay the yearly subscription. In the past, however, for a contract that had expired, you would have 12 months to renew it and purely backdate the subscription cost and pay a late renewal fee. As from the 31st of January, the 12-month period has been reduced to 1 month. You must ensure you renew your subscription within this period, and we will work with you to ensure that this happens. Should you not renew within this period, nothing further can be done to the license, And in reality, although the license can continue to be used, there will be no upgrade option available and your initial investment will be lost. It's also worth noting that anyone who has currently allowed their existing licenses to expire from subscription only have until the 31st of January to get those licenses back on. So when comparing costs of maintenance subscription against desktop subscription, as you will see, based on standard pricing, it takes about 5 years of desktop subscription to match the cost of a maintenance subscription. In year 6, if still in use, you will see it costing more, and for this reason customers are now utilising the last opportunity to purchase additional licenses based on the old model. Due to a 10% subscription charge increase in January, again customers are now also securing subscription up to 3 years to ensure they're not affected by this and potentially any further uplifts. So to ensure customers have the information to make an informed decision, if necessary, please contact me directly to discuss your specific licenses and associated subscription, and I can then review your account and clearly provide you all the options available. If you have qualifying licenses, get them back onto subscription as soon as possible, and better still, to avoid the price rises, take out the 3-year option. If your software doesn't qualify, the next best option is to utilise the expired serial numbers and take advantage of the current desktop subscription promotions, allowing you to adopt the new model for a fraction of the price. Again, as much as I try to explain the available licenses and subscription models, I appreciate things can be confusing, so please get in touch and I'll do all I can to help. Well, that's enough from me. Thanks for listening. I'll now hand you over to Paul Munford, who's going to show you what subscription investment means to software development, and in this case specifically to Inventor 2016.
Okay, thanks very much, Ben. So this is Paul Munford speaking now, and I get the cool bit. I get to show you what's new in Inventor 2016. I get to show you all the good stuff that you really want to see. So why do you want to install 2016? What's Inventor 2016 got that you didn't have before? This is what I want to answer you. I've got some PowerPoint here. Yes, I'm going to be stepping through some of this stuff, but every so often I'm going to get really overexcited. I'm just have to jump into the product and show you what there is. Okay, so as you know, Autodesk Inventor 2016 is part of the Autodesk Product Design Suite, and the whole idea that we can take what we're working on, we can take it all the way through from the concept, through the engineering, design and simulation, documentation, through to the visualization stage. So it's a full suite of tools. Today we're just going to be concentrating on Autodesk Inventor, the core product from the suite. So what's new? What's new in Autodesk Inventor? The first thing I want to show is AnyCAD technology. This is so cool, and this is worth it by itself. I've shown this to a lot of customers so far, and they've all been really impressed. This has been a game changer for us already. So what AnyCAD technology allows us to do, it allows us not only to bring parts into Inventor from other CAD systems, but crucially, it allows us to link parts from other CAD systems in Inventor. This is what makes it game changer, what makes it really cool. And I'm going to have to show you this one. So let's just jump straight into Inventor now. What I'm going to do is just open up an example file. So I'm going to open up for you a SolidWorks file. This is a SolidWorks file I'm going to open up inside Inventor. I'm going to choose open. Now, as you can see here, we've got this new format as we open up this part. We can choose whether we want to reference this model or convert it. I'm going to choose reference. We have some other options here. The option has changed depending on what kind of model file we're opening. This is a SolidWorks file. But over here we also get this preview. So if I click load model, I can choose which of these components I want to load into this assembly, or I can just choose them all. So I'll choose OK. And you can see I have the model imported from SolidWorks, but crucially this is a linked file. This is not an imported file. Now, I don't have SolidWorks on my computer. If I did, what I could show you is that we go out to SolidWorks and make a change, update it, and we get the update inside Inventor, which is wicked cool and so useful. If you've got contractors working for you, working in a different file format, that's great. If you've got different people within the same company, you've got different tools for different jobs, you can work in your native file formats and just link them into Inventor to bring it all together at the end. Now, we do have some limited amount of capacity to be able to work on model files here. So if I come up to my 3D model tab, and let's just do a move face just as an example. So we can add additional features on inside Inventor, and within reason, when you update your stuff in SolidWorks, it'll bring it through Inventor and then apply that update from Inventor over the top. Now that's an assembly file. I also wanted to show you part files, so I'll come up here to open. This time I'll just choose the top of the gear here. I'll choose open, and again we get the same options. What do we want to bring in? Do we want to link it, or do we have an assembly? and we get the same options whether we, to be able to preview and see what we want to bring in. So I'll choose OK. And once again, we've got the native SolidWorks part inside Inventor here, and it is linked, so we can update this inside SolidWorks and then re-update it inside Inventor. But once again, we have some tools here. We can use a direct editing tool, for example. So for example, we could do a size change, choose this face here and just make it slightly smaller. You can see this is parametric, so I can make this precise, make it a 3mm change here. And we've had the direct edit added to the end of the tree, and we can see what the edit is. So if we wanted to go back at any time, we could change that edit. And again, within reason, when we update our SolidWorks part outside Inventor, when we open it up in Inventor, we'll get prompted for that update, and then our direct edit will be applied afterwards. So this is quite a useful collaboration tool that allows us to work with our colleagues using different CAD systems. Just make your life so much easier. Isn't that such a cool tool? I just get really excited about that. I think that's going to be so useful to so many people. So where we go next? DWG underlay. So DWG underlay is kind of part of AnyCAD, but this is working with inside the Autodesk environment. So we've always been able to take Inventor geometry, 3D geometry, create a 2D DWG file, and then open that DWG file up inside AutoCAD. And then we could continue to reuse that 2D DWG geometry for maybe layouts or space planning, that kind of thing. But we've never had the option to do it the other way around. This is what AnyCAD DWG underlay gives us. We can bring a DWG into Inventor and use it as an underlay to create more geometry. So this is another one I really get excited about. I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to create a brand new part file, and inside this part file I'm going to use the import command, and I'm going to import in a DWG file. I need to choose a plane to place it on and a reference point. Once I brought it in, I've now got this DWG inside Inventor that I can use as reference. Now, as you can see, I can do very limited amount of functions with it right now. I can just sort of select stuff, maybe take some dimensions off it. If I actually want to reference this geometry, I have to create a sketch and project this geometry into my sketch. So I'll come up here, choose Start 2D DWG, Start, mistake. I'll come up here and choose Start 2D Sketch. Then I'll choose the XY plane. And then I'll project in this geometry using the new Project DWG geometry tool. And right here I'm going to choose this little boss in the middle, and I'll choose the two endpoints here. Right click and choose cancel, finish up the command. Then I will just add in a dimension here as a reference dimension. So what I can now do is I can finish up in my sketch. I can choose extrude. I'm going to extrude out this boss. It's picked it for me because it's the only closed loop here. And I'll reference in this feature here. Okay, choose OK there. So now the cool thing is I can switch into AutoCAD, and inside AutoCAD you can see I've got the same file open. So I'm just going to do a little edit inside AutoCAD. So let's just maybe change this here, maybe use the properties palette over here to change the radius here down. I'll save this and keep an eye up here. Keep an eye up here in the Inventor ribbon. So I'm going to save this in AutoCAD, and you can see we've instantly got an update inside Inventor. So if I pop back into Inventor, I can hit the update button, and you can see everything's updated to suit our AutoCAD DWG file. So again, really useful tool. This doesn't need to be used just for part creation. Imagine using this for a room layout and be able to drop in your 3D geometry into a room and associate it to the 2D DWG that you use for a space plan. Very useful tool, very exciting to me anyway. Let's jump back into the PowerPoint. So what else have we got? Home tab. Now, this is something that's got a new facelift in Inventor 2016. Autodesk team are really working on trying to make this more useful for people. I am going to show you this, but I'm going to show you something else first, and we'll come back to this in a moment. Drawing view creation. This has got a massive facelift in 2016. I think you're going to love this. This is so much more useful. So let's take a quick look at this one. So I'll come in here. I'm just going to open up this. Let me just go back to the Home tab actually. So in the Home tab, I said I'd show you this. The first thing you'll notice is we've got these jumping off buttons to be able to create new parts, assemblies and drawings straight away. This is using our standard template files. If you wanted to create something from your non-standard or your more advanced template files, just click on the little arrow down here and you get access to the full dialog. So you can pick any of those, maybe your sheet metal, maybe you've got some template files you like to use. So that's very handy. And just to show you the cogwheel thing here, if we click on the cogwheel, we can choose what kind of measurements we want to use. So if you need to configure your default template, that's where you do that. Up here we have projects. Now I think this is incredibly useful, if for no other reason than because even if you only use a single project file inside Inventor, invariably at some point you'll open up Inventor and you'll be in the wrong project and you don't notice. There's no easy way to tell, and then something doesn't work and you fill out support, and then you kind of feel dumb when you realise you just got the wrong project file open. So if for no other reason than just a quick check when you open up Inventor, what project file am I using, I think that's incredibly useful. We can also see if we have any shortcuts associated with our project, they'll be up there, and we've got this sort of file details box. So if I click on one of these shortcuts down below, then we get some information about that file without having to right click or dig down. It's all right there in front of us, so that's quite handy. Down in the project window, we can see recently opened files. I've pinned these so I can make them easy to access. Down the side here, we can filter these down a little bit, so we could choose just assemblies, we could choose just drawings, just parts, or we could choose everything. So that's kind of useful down there. When you have a lot of files open recently, better sort through and grab the file you want without having to browse out into Windows to find it. Right here on the pinned files themselves, we have a couple of useful options. So the folder icon allows us to open this file. The trash can icon just removes the icon here, moves the little shortcut panel. It doesn't actually delete the file, just removes this from the list if you don't want to see that anymore. Even more useful under the actions here, we can choose to open them with options, or we can choose to open the containing folder. How cool is that? We just open the containing folder, go straight to wherever this file is. That's very useful. Explore containing folder will open up the folder inside Windows Explorer. Very useful tool to finding out where your files are. But anyway, we're not talking about that right now, we're talking about drawings. So I'm just going to click here and open up this assembly. This is wicked cool. Have you seen this? This is the accelerator brake and clutch from the BAC Mono F1. This is the first ever F1 road legal road car. It's made in Liverpool in the UK. Fantastic piece of kit. If you ever see it, beautiful machine. Anyway, I digress. We wanted to talk about drawings. So the first thing I wanted to show you right here, if we choose a new option right up here called Create Drawing View. So I'll click Create Drawing View. It'll ask me for a template file. I'll choose yes. Choose OK. And up here you can see it's created a drawing view exactly as we were looking at the model. So that's kind of handy. But let's say in this case I actually just wanted to go with my standard view. So I'll just use the view cube here to reorientate my view. And then if I want to create my other views, just you can see very clearly, if I point you here, you can just about see that. Can you see that? If I click on these little arrows, I can get the other views. And if you look in the corner, there's an arrow there as well to create your isometrics. And if you don't want them, just click on the little cross, and then we can move these things around. So let's move my base view, and my other views are going to come with me. And in the corner here, if we grab the corner, that's going to set the scale. So this is more kind of slightly more intuitive way of being able to rescale everything. So this is kind of cool. You can see the dialog box is still there. It's kind of as we saw it, but it's been massively truncated because so much of this stuff's going on in the canvas. I'll choose OK here. Now let's say this ISO view on the right here, this is not the view I wanted to create. So let me see if I can fix that. I'll just double click to edit again, and once again I can use a view cube to reorientate any of my views. Just as a side note down here, if you do want to choose perspective views, they're right there, and you can even go to custom view orientation, which opens up the old environment that we used to have to use to get to perspective. It's all still there, it's just slightly more hidden away than it used to be. So I'll choose OK. And the next thing I wanted to show you is some changes to the ballooning environment. Again, this is one of these just small things that you know, you can't really put this in marketing, but to you and I they make a big difference because they're things that we use every day. So what I'm going to do here is just choose some components from this assembly, select my placement, and do an all-round placement. Now the reason I wanted to show you this in particular is because Autodesk have changed the algorithm they use that makes these arrows point at the parts. Now what I hope you'll see as you go forward in the future, hopefully you'll see more of the arrows point to the nearest edge of the part and less of the arrows kind of crossing over to pick somewhere else. Remember how annoying that used to be? So Autodesk kind of tidied this up. They've made some effort in this area to try and make this better. Try that out and let me know what you think. I think it's a big improvement. I'll just choose OK there. Another little thing in the ballooning, if I just grab some balloons here, right click, choose align, choose to edge. Then I can pick an edge in my model and they'll be aligned to that edge. Again, it's just a nice feature, it's a nice thing. We've always wanted to do it, we've always done it, it's just taken us a few more clicks. So it's just a few less picks, a few less clicks. The kind of stuff that you will on a day-to-day basis just make Inventor slightly nicer to use, more intuitive. The final thing I wanted to show you in the drawing environment here is if I come up to insert a sketch symbol, in my sketch symbols I now have a symbol library. How cool is that? Symbol libraries, we've wanted those for ages. So instead of having to put all my sketched symbols into my template file, which if you create a new sketch symbol is a bit of a pain, you've got to open up a template file, include your sketch symbol, save it as a template again, and then anybody else who's using it, well, where'd they get that sketch symbol from? Well, now you can just put it in one place. You can put it in your library. Your library can contain multiple IDW or DWG files, so you can have your libraries kind of sorted out by type. And when you want to place it, you just place it in there. So it gives you one place to organize all your sketch symbols. Very useful tool. Okay, let me jump back in here. Where are we going next? A couple of things I didn't cover. Text editing, we've got bullet points now, numbering in bullets. We've got some more additional symbols we didn't have before. We can do strike through, and if we copy and paste stuff in from Word, the formatting will be preserved from Word. So that's all really useful stuff. Again, little things, little incremental improvements every time you use Inventor. Good stuff. Presentations. Presentations, I have to show you. I have to show you this. Let's jump back into Inventor. Presentations. This is so cool. So presentations. I'm going to start a new presentation file. I'm going to create a view. Just browse out here, make sure I've got my presentation. Okay, so this is the first thing I want to show you. I'd like to show you the new Auto Explode. Now the Auto Explode is much better than it used to be. The reason being that Auto Explode literally just used to make a sort of spherical group of components and just kind of move them out. It's a little bit random. There was no way of predicting what was going to happen. What Autodesk have done to make this more user-friendly, more intuitive, is they're actually using the constraints you've applied as a guide as to which direction these components should move. Okay, so this does rely on the fact that you've constrained it in some sort of logical manner that the computer can understand. If you've done that, then Inventor will move these things for you. So now Auto Explode, instead of being kind of, I never use it, is now a tool you can use as the basis for your assembly. It's really useful, it's really helpful. But what's even better than that, we've had a facelift. If I go to tweak components, what's that? Check it out. It's this brand new Ucs Cursor thing. This looks a lot like the direct move cursor. Do you remember that for direct editing? And similarly, if I hold it over a component here, I can pick up all the geometry from that component. If I hold down the control key, I can limit my selection set to one face. So that's kind of easy, a bit more intuitive. I'm just going to click right here on the center of this feature, and then literally I just grab and pull. How cool is that? Down here, I can commit that, or I can apply it and get ready to apply another move. So I'll choose apply. I'll make another move, maybe in this direction. I'll apply that, make another move back here again. And then when I play that, we can see that working. So this is just a nice, this tool has not had any love for ages. Autodesk just included a few new features in here. It's made a big difference. Makes it so much more usable than it used to be. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's finish up there and jump back into the presentation. Now, I didn't have time to put together a presentation list for you. This is the three things we've got here. Each one could be a presentation itself. So we can continue to use the parametric tools that we've always had inside Inventor. The direct tools in 2016 have had a real facelift as well. They're way more useful. We've got more options. We've got move, size, rotate, scale. So we can do a lot more than we used to. And again, those parametric edits are all saved at the end of the tree there, so you can get back at any point and edit them again. So they've put some real effort into that. Freeform's had a lot in 2016. So if you remember in 2015, Freeform modeling only allows us to work on closed bodies. Okay, so we couldn't do sort of open sheets. We couldn't do surface modeling with T-splines. It's a bit of a shame. It was a nice tool, but we couldn't do much with it. 2016, we've pretty much got the full set of tools in there from T-splines now. Same set of tools you find in Rhino, same set of tools you find in Fusion. Maybe there's a few variants in those products, but we've got nearly everything in there now. So this now has a complete feature set. This is now so useful. This is a completely different modeling paradigm from direct editing, which is why I think I should probably come back next week and do another presentation on this. The main thing here is that we can do open sheets, so we can create a network of surfaces from existing edges. We can match to those edges, and then we can weld stuff together. So this is now an incredibly useful feature set. So I'm just going to jump through some of the additional things I haven't got time to show you in the product. So direct edit, uniform and non-uniform parametric edits, damn useful. Assemblies, mid-plane assemblies, rectangular patterns. Who knew we didn't have those? We didn't have them, but now we do. Little thing, we can't, Autodesk, they can't market this. This is not a big deal. This is not a big sales tool. It's in there just for the love of it, just because they want us to have the best tools. They want to keep continuing to improve these tools. Advanced manufacturing, 3D printing. So you'll find there's a 3D printing environment inside Inventor. What this allows you to do is allows you to set up a mock-up of your 3D print bed. You can then take your Inventor components, you can position a scale, and you can partition them, so you can divide them up. If you couldn't 3D print them all at once, you can split your Inventor part up into bits and work out how to get that on the bed. The idea is you then take on something like Print Studio to do all your supports and that kind of thing. So really cool tool if you're doing 3D printing for Autodesk Inventor. Now, this is another one that I want to show you, because this has been asked for years, and this, and I think it's going to be so popular and so useful. So let me jump back in here. I'm going to open up a sheet metal part, a multi-body sheet metal part. How cool is that? So there we go. So I was working on my meditation chain the other night, as you do, just working out how I was going to fit all my kit in there. And you can see that traditionally this sort of sheet metal part with these sort of adjoining edges would be quite tricky to do. You'd have to model each one individually, and you have to do it all through, you know, writing down the equations or memorizing or something. But now we can do multiple bodies. Let me just show up here, multiple bodies inside the same Inventor part. So now we can use one reference for everything, and instead of having to produce a reference and derive it and then thicken faces, you know, all that kind of stuff, we just model in one environment. It's way more intuitive, it's way more fun. We can kind of get everything sorted out, and then when we're done, we can create flat patterns. But we can't create flat patterns because it's a multi-body. Okay, so let me show you how you do that. So we now use the Derive Tools to get to our flat patterns. If I come up here to the Manage tab, I'm going to choose Make Components, and I'm going to select the bodies that I want to derive out. Under Next, I am not going to link those styles. I'm going to make sure I've included my parameters. All my sheet metal parameters are going to be derived from my main part. Okay, so there's consistency throughout my project. I'll choose OK, and then here in my assembly I now have two parts, and each part contains a reference back to my original multi-body. So if I change my multi-body, I change every part associated with it in one. How useful, that's very cool. And now I can use my Create Flat Pattern tools to be able to create a flat pattern of each of these components. Okay, so best of both worlds. I can do multi-body sheet metal parts, derive them out into individual parts, and then create my flat pattern for documentation or for laser cutting later on. Very useful, very cool. And again, one of these things that you've been asking for ages, I've been asking for ages, and we finally got it in the product just as we wanted it. So some other things, the sheet metal multi-body has support for all these different commands. And also we now have the option to be able to do zero radius bends. So this is really useful for those of you who do a lot of sheet metal. Quite a lot of people actually use Inventor for doing like cardboard packaging, and they use the sheet metal environment to be able to unfold. So be able to have zero radius bends is really going to help those customers. And that's the end of this presentation. So I encourage you to go out and find more, read more. There's a whole lot more I didn't have time to discuss with you today. You will enjoy finding out more about 2016 as you use it. It's a lovely release of Inventor. It's stable. I've been enjoying using it a lot, and I think you are too. So listen, thank you very much for your time. I'm a massive CAD geek. I'm sorry if I've overlaid too much onto you. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've seen something you'll find useful. And please don't forget to give Ben a call by the end of January if you want to be able to upgrade to these new features. Thank you very much. Goodbye.